There's a single moment, a quiet, almost invisible shift, that changes everything. You don't have to impress her with grand gestures. You don't have to sleep with her, buy her gifts, or even say something clever. Because the truth is, power doesn't come from effort. It comes from energy, from the way you carry yourself when you decide not to play her game. And when that moment comes, when you make that subtle but defining move, she'll never see you the same again. Not with the same comfort, not with the same control. Because suddenly, for the first time, she'll feel something she's never felt with you before, a mix of uncertainty, curiosity, and quiet respect. It's that feeling she gets when a man stops being predictable, when she realizes she can't read you anymore, when her confidence in controlling you begins to crack, and in its place, something magnetic starts to form. So what is this shift? What is that one move that flips the dynamic in your favor? Let's break it down, because depending on who you are, and what kind of man she thinks you are, that move might look a little different. But once you do it, even once, she can't unsee it, she can't unfeel it. It rewires the way she perceives you. Before we get into it, remember this. Women test not because they hate you, but because they want to know who you really are when they push. They want to know if your calm is real, or if it's just an act. And that brings us to the first and most powerful form of this shift. 1. The power of not reacting. Imagine this. She says something petty, maybe even a little disrespectful. She throws a tantrum, rolls her eyes, crosses her arms, waiting for you to bite. She's testing the waters, seeing how deep your emotions run and how easily she can pull the strings. Most men take the bait. They argue, they defend themselves, they raise their voices to prove a point or try to win her back with logic or apology. But not you. You stand there, calm, still, composed. The storm might rage around you, but you don't move with it. You look at her, not with anger, not with hurt, just stillness. The quiet confidence of a man who already knows what's beneath him. You don't flinch, you don't defend yourself, you pause, maybe smirk slightly, not out of arrogance, but from complete self-control, and you walk away. That moment is nuclear, because in that instant, she realizes something that no amount of talking could ever teach her: she doesn't control you. Most women are used to emotional power. They say things to push buttons, not to destroy, but to measure. They want to see if you'll lose yourself when things stop going your way. They want to see if your calm can withstand chaos. When you pass that test, when you choose composure over conflict, something changes inside her. You stop being the man she thought she could predict, the one she assumed she had wrapped around her finger. Instead, you become the mystery she never saw coming. And mystery, my friend, is oxygen to attraction. She might not show it right away. She might even double down, trying harder to get a reaction from you, trying to draw emotion from your silence. But deep down, something shifts. She starts replaying that moment in her mind, your calm, your smirk, the way you walked away as if her chaos didn't deserve your attention. It unsettles her, and it fascinates her, because for the first time, she realizes that you're not reacting to her world. She's reacting to yours. This is the quiet power of masculine restraint, the kind that doesn't shout, doesn't chase, doesn't explain, the kind that speaks in silence. In that silence, she feels something rare: respect. You see, respect isn't something you can demand. It's something you earn when you stop trying to prove yourself. When you show her, not tell her, that you are grounded in something deeper than approval. It's not about winning an argument. It's about showing, through your stillness, that no argument is worth your peace. And that's what makes it so magnetic. Because while every other man reacts, loud, emotional, desperate, you simply don't. Your energy says, you don't get to shake me. And that's what sets you apart. So the next time she tries to provoke you, remember, your silence is not weakness. It's power under control. A calm man is not a passive man. He's a dangerous one who chooses not to show his power. And the moment she realizes that, everything changes. Walking away without a word. Now, let's say the situation's different. She's not yelling. She's playing games. One day she's warm. The next she's cold. She flirts with other guys in front of you just to see if you'll flinch. She leaves your messages on read. Then texts you again just when you've stopped replying. Most guys crumble here. They overthink. They send long messages trying to decode what's happening. They confront her, demand answers, try to fix it. But you don't chase. You don't explain yourself or ask for clarity. You simply withdraw. You walk away without a word. No drama, no accusations, just silence. The kind that speaks louder than any argument ever could. Because when a man detaches like that, when he chooses peace over performance, it sends a message she can't ignore. You value yourself more than her attention. And that's where the dynamic flips again. Your silence forces reflection. She starts wondering, did I go too far? Did I lose him? Why isn't he reacting? Her mind becomes the battlefield, not yours. And that's exactly where your strength lies. Because you've shifted the energy. You've turned her test into her own lesson. See, walking away isn't about manipulation. It's about mastery. It's about knowing when a situation no longer deserves your energy. And when you do that, when you exit with calm instead of chaos, she sees it. She feels it. The respect deepens. The intrigue grows. She might tell herself she doesn't care, that she's over it, but her mind won't stop replaying that image of you walking away, composed, unbothered, free, because nothing is more attractive than a man who doesn't beg for attention, who doesn't try to control the uncontrollable. And that's what these moments are really about. Control, not of her, but of yourself. The world is full of noise, full of people reacting to every little thing. But when you choose stillness, when you embody restraint, you rise above that noise. You become the calm in the storm, and everyone, including her, feels it, and that's just the beginning. Because once she feels that energy from you, the energy of grounded, silent strength, her perception of you starts to shift permanently. She can't see you the same way anymore. You're no longer just another guy. You've become the variable she can't solve. And that's where the story really begins. Because what comes next is when the dynamic truly reverses, when she's the one chasing the calm she once took for granted. That silence, that complete withdrawal, it's like flipping a switch inside her mind. Because suddenly, you're no longer the man chasing her attention, you're the man who took it away. And that changes everything. She'll check her phone, she'll glance at her messages, or rather, the lack of them. She'll wonder if you've seen her story. She'll replay every past conversation, trying to figure out what changed. What went wrong? What did she miss? The truth is, you didn't change at all. You simply decided she no longer deserved your explanations. And that single decision stings more than any argument ever could. Because silence, when it comes from inner strength, echoes louder than words. Third, make her wait, and let her feel it. Timing is everything. The next time she texts you, don't reply right away. The next time she invites you out, don't instantly agree. And the next time she expects you to take the lead, pause. This isn't a game, it's discipline. Because what most men fail to understand is this: when you make her wait, you make her think. And that thinking, that space between expectation and reality, is the fuel of attraction. Women today are used to instant attention. They're used to men rearranging their entire schedules just to see them. Men who reply in seconds, sacrificing sleep, peace, and focus just for a moment of her time. But when she meets you, the man who values his rhythm, his calm, his time, she feels something different. She senses that your peace comes first. Your time isn't something anyone can just take. Your presence isn't free. You become the man who doesn't need her, and that's exactly why she starts to want you. Let her feel your absence. Let her sit in that waiting space. Because in that silence, in that delay, she realizes something powerful. You're not like the others. And she can't take you for granted. She'll start asking herself, did I say something wrong? Has he lost interest? Why hasn't he replied yet? Each unanswered question is like a spark. And in that gap between her message and your reply, the attraction quietly grows stronger. Because when a man stops showing up the moment he's called, he starts to become valuable. Fourth, say no without explaining. This can happen in any situation. She asks you to cancel your plans. She wants to borrow money. Or she demands something that goes against your peace, your values, or your principles, and you simply say, no. No anger, no frustration, just a calm, firm, no. Then silence, no justification, no apology, no long story. Because real strength doesn't come from endless explanations, it comes from certainty. When she hears that, when she realizes you're not afraid to disappoint her to stay true to yourself, something inside her shifts. She goes quiet, she pays attention, and she sees a kind of man she didn't know she needed, calm, grounded, unshakable. You're no longer the man she can guilt trip. You're no longer the man desperate to be liked. You're the man who stands by his principles without apology. And when she realizes that, everything changes. The game flips. Now, she's the one rethinking her words and actions, not you. Because when a man can say no and stand firm, he earns a kind of respect that chasing will never get him. Fifth, pull her close. Then let go first. Picture this. It's just the two of you. The room is quiet. She leans in, close enough for you to feel her breath. Close enough that her heartbeat seems to pause for half a second. In that moment, she waits. She's waiting for you to close the distance, to take the lead. But instead, you stop, just for a moment, and you let her come the rest of the way. Because right there, the power shifts, subtle but undeniable. You show control not by force, but by restraint. And that restraint, that pause, is what makes desire come alive. That's the difference between a man who reacts and a man who leads. One is driven by impulse, the other acts with intention. One craves validation, the other creates respect. When you master silence, timing, and boundaries, you stop playing her game, because now, she's the one trying to play by your rules. As we've seen in the last part, real power doesn't come from chasing, reacting, or explaining yourself. It comes from restraint, timing, and holding your ground. Now, let's take it one step further, into the subtle art of desire. Self-control, and unforgettable presence. Picture this. She leans in. You feel it immediately. The energy, the tension, the heat, the want vibrating in the space between you two. Her gaze locks on yours. And for a fleeting moment, everything else disappears. It's electric. You can almost hear the unspoken question in her eyes. Will you take it? Or will you wait? You step forward, but not too fast, not too slow. Every movement deliberate, measured, calm. You pull her just close enough so she can feel your heartbeat, a rhythm steady and unshakable. You hold her, and yet, when the moment comes, you let her step away first. Not because you're scared, not because you don't want her, not because you lack control. On the contrary, you could have kept her in your arms easily, but you choose not to. That choice, that subtle act of restraint, speaks louder than words, louder than passion, louder than any attempt to impress or persuade. And in that moment, she understands something profound. You are in control of your own desire. You're not like every other man who loses himself in the heat of a moment, who lets emotion override reason. You're the one who tastes her energy and yet doesn't overdose. You're the one who balances intimacy with self-respect. That self-restraint, my friend, is more magnetic than chiseled abs. more compelling than wealth, more dangerous and unforgettable than any clever words you could have said. Because she expected you to melt, to escalate, to give in completely, and instead, you demonstrated the power of almost. You showed her the art of measured desire. And now, she wants more. She craves the rest of what she can't have, the depth you chose not to give away immediately. That craving will linger. Days, weeks, months, even years. One single moment of controlled energy. One moment of silence. One glance that says, "I see you, but I don't need you," and her perception of you changes forever. From that moment on, she will never unsee the man who knows his worth. The man who sets boundaries and respects himself. The man who doesn't bend to whims, doesn't chase validation, and doesn't apologize for being whole, complete, and unshakable. One act, just one, and you live rent-free in her memory. Not as a heartbreak, not as a lesson, but as a standard she can't forget. You became the man who could have chased her, but didn't, the man who could have begged, but didn't, the man who executed one simple, profound choice and made her question everything she thought she knew about you and about herself. That is the difference between fleeting attraction and unforgettable presence. Between someone she remembers for a moment and someone who imprints on her mind forever. So here's what you do next. Decide to embody that standard in every interaction. Whether it's a glance, a touch, or a word, let your restraint do the talking. Let your calmness and confidence dictate the rhythm of connection. Because a man who respects himself in silence commands more attention than 1,000 words ever could. If you've ever walked away, held your ground, or done one thing so quietly powerful that she never saw you the same way again, that's your moment. That's your story, and that's what this channel is about. Not shallow tips, not manipulative tricks, but real transformation. Becoming unforgettable through self-respect, silence, and unwavering standards. If you're ready to stop explaining yourself, stop bending, stop trying to be understood at every turn. If you're ready to step into the kind of man women will remember long after every conversation has ended. Subscribe, and comment below the word, unforgettable. Let it echo, let it mark the beginning of your shift. Because when you step into this energy, when you move through life with calm, intention, and boundaries, you become the man who isn't just seen, you become the man who is felt. The man who lingers in memory. The man who becomes the benchmark for all others. Remember, desire is fleeting, but presence is eternal. Pleasure fades, but respect lasts. Attraction can come in seconds, but being unforgettable takes patience, restraint, and a mastery of your own energy. And when you combine these elements, self-control, timing, boundaries, and subtle restraint, you create a force that she can't ignore. A magnetism that's silent but undeniable. So step into it, practice it, live it, pull her close, then let her step away first. Hold your ground, let your silence speak louder than words, and watch how the world, and she, begins to see you in a way that no chase, no explanation, no manipulation could ever achieve. Because that, my friend, is what it means to be unforgettable.